This is the 2024 Honda Accord Hybrid Sport. Is this the best bang for the buck trim level? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Today I'm at Holmes Honda to give you the ins and the outs on this model. And there's one thing I'm going to show you in today's video that I've never shown before in one of my videos on these Accord Hybrids, this 11th generation. You'll have to stick around and see what that is. I promise you, it will be worth the wait for a lot of you because I know it's a question that many of you have asked. If you want to know more about this model, check out the link down in the description of the video. The exterior color on this model is Still Night Pearl. It has a black interior, and here on the front end we're going to have LED daytime running lights, and you'll find your active air curtains right here that allow air to flow through the front end. That allows for better gas mileage. And when it comes to safety, you do have quite a bit going on where that's concerned. Besides all of the airbags throughout the interior, you have Honda sensing. That's going to include adaptive cruise control, collision mitigation braking, road departure mitigation, lane keeping assist, and traffic jam assist. Front wheel drive, that's all you're going to have here with these Accords. All-wheel drive not available, in case you were curious about that. Unless you live in an area where you deal with snow and ice, you really don't need all-wheel drive. Since we're talking about that, let's talk about the tire and wheel size on this model. 235 on our width. You'll have the 40 series sidewall wrapped around the 19-inch wheels. Now, one thing that you'll find here and something that you won't find, let's talk about some of those things. You have the gloss black mirror caps. These are manually folding side view mirrors. They're power adjustable, but they're not heated. But I think when it comes to weighing out the options of what you'd rather have and not have, personally, I'd rather have blind spot monitoring as opposed to having the heated side view mirrors. Now, that is available on additional trim levels, higher trim levels of the Accord, if that's something you want. Having more than one remote in my pocket is not the best thing. Let me get the right one out. There we go. There is your remote for the 24 Accord Hybrid Sport. You do have remote start. That's always a good thing. Panic button. You can see what else is here. All of the typical buttons. It is a proximity key, and it does have the walk-away feature. This model does have a conventional size sunroof. And being that it's the sport trim level, you're going to have some sportiness to it, I guess we'll say, with the trim that we have running around the body, the lower portion down there, and your black spoiler, gloss black here with your spoiler on the trunk. And we'll just push the button right there to open the trunk. Once you push the button, whether it's on the remote, right there on the trunk itself, or in the interior, basically it opens by itself. One thing that does separate this model out from other hybrids out there, say you were going to buy the Accord, or excuse me, the CR-V hybrid, there's a difference between the non-hybrid and the hybrid cargo capacity. Here with the Accord, there is none. Whether you go hybrid or you don't go hybrid, you're gonna have 16.7 cubic feet worth of cargo capacity. The only thing missing is a spare tire, but there is room to buy a spare tire kit and put one in here. Personally, I think that's something that Honda should offer, that you should have to check off and say you don't want if you were to order one of these Accords. Just my opinion on the matter. And to increase your cargo space to its maximum potential, you'll pull on the releases right here, and we'll go inside and lower down the 60-40 split seat backs here in the rear seat area. As you can see, I've already done that. That gives you a little more room. You can have anything that will fit, and you need the extra space coming through this area into the interior. Just nice to know what you have. And for those who don't want a turbocharged engine, here is your only option. If you go non-hybrid, you're going to have the turbocharged 1.5 liter four-cylinder, or we can come to the hybrid trim levels, and you'll have the 2-liter naturally aspirated four-cylinder mated to dual electric motors. Combined, everything puts out 204 horsepower and 247 pounds-feet of torque mated to an eCVT. And how about those all-important MPGs? We're looking at 46 city, 41 highway, 44 combined, and 2.3 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. Let me walk around here to the driver's side where you're going to find your gas door. When you lock the interior, by the way, that does lock. You do have capless fuel fill, and when you fill up, you have a 12.8-gallon gas tank. And we'll take a look into the back seat area to see what your rear seat passengers are going to find. Comfortable armrest, although I would love to see this area flat. Just seems to be more comfortable, but I don't know, maybe it's not such a big deal for some people. Just my thoughts on how that's designed. You will have your bottle holder right here / door bin, can be used for either function. And being that this is the hybrid sport trim level, you have a nice sporty look with the interior. Not much more to talk about here besides the fact that you had the fold down armrest with the cup holders built in. In this case, we're not going to have rear air conditioning vents or USB connectivity in the back seat area. Not a big deal, I don't think, for the size of the interior. As far as the air goes, you do have the rear seat pocket right here. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, you're also going to have, if I can reach it, the sunroof. Conventional size, it does tilt and slide open. And one of the most important points, if this is the best bang for the buck trim level, what's the sticker price? $34,445. At least here at Holmes Honda. Depending on where you live, you may see a higher price or maybe a lower price. Tell us down in the comments about what your local dealership is charging. With the front doors, you have a larger armrest, and even though you still have that angle right there that we saw with the rear doors, I think that's going to work a little bit better because you have more armrest available and a little bit larger door bin as well. We're going to have plenty of space within the glove box. Now you do have a manually adjustable passenger seat and a power adjustable driver's seat. Over here on the driver's side door, everything you expect. Your front windows are power up and power down. You won't have the same thing as far as power up for the rear seat, or rear doors, I should say. And then obviously you can control everything here with your mirrors and all that stuff. You know what all is there. And we'll find right up here, in fact, let me open the door so we can show you real quick. There is the button to open the trunk. Right here is the release for the hood. And if you need to change the adjust the positioning of your steering wheel, you drop that lever like that, and it is tilt and telescopically adjustable. You can also adjust what is on your center screen here. So if you want to customize the display, you can make changes on what you see and what you don't see. Content, all of that is going to be here. So it just depends on what you're interested in seeing and how you want everything to be adjusted. And you can also make changes over here on this side as well. So pretty easy. Even the overall gauge design, if you like round, well, that's what you can use. Or we can go to bar. Some of you might like that a little bit more. We can go to round minimal for the minimalist out there. And then we can go back right here and we can go in and see what else we have. How about bar minimal? Everything's about being minimal, isn't it? Go back and we go to just minimal. And that's what you're going to have as far as that goes. Pretty easy to deal with, so not a problem. And then we'll go back right here and we're good. We're going to stick with what we have right there. That's pretty easy to deal with. Not a big deal. Just depends on what you want to see and how you want things to look. That's always nice to know that that adjustability is there. And something else you might not know about. Now, this isn't what I was talking about earlier. I have shown this before in the past. But when you look at the likeness of your Accord right there, it's not the same color as the Accord you have here as far as being still night pearl. But when you put your foot on the brake lights come on. When you put it into drive, it gets down into what I call the ready, set, go position. And then you can also obviously go into reverse and do all that stuff. But those are some interesting things that happen where that's concerned. Also, when you're in reverse, you have your multi-view rear view camera. It would be nice to see some additional camera views, maybe at some point in the future on the Accord, such as a front camera view, maybe cameras in the side view mirrors. Tell me what your thoughts are on that. And the 12.3-inch touchscreen not only looks nice and modern, it offers a lot of great features. You have your power flow meter right here. If Honda was going to change anything with this screen, here's what I would like for it to be. Being able to get rid of what's over here if you want to, so you just have the whole screen. If you use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, that does take up the whole screen, at least from this point over. Tell Honda what you think about that. Now, you can go in here and make some changes to the vehicle. What was that one thing I was talking about earlier? Well, it has to do with what you see on the screen right here. That is not the color of this Accord. Did you know you can change that? I did not know that myself until just recently. The ability to do so is not in an obvious place. We go to Menu, and then we go to Body Color. And if we want to change to Still Night Pearl, there we go. And you have all of the other additional colors for the Accord Hybrid available right here. We'll just run through those so you can see. And obviously you don't have to use the color that your Accord is. You can use whatever color you like. It just depends on what you want to do. And obviously a lot of changes you can make here with vehicle settings. You just go in and select whatever it is you want to do. It's so simple that I don't really even need to show it to you. I promise you, you can figure it out on your own, no problem. General settings right there. Also, just as easy to deal with. When you see those two dots down there, that means you have more than one page worth of information to work with. Wireless capabilities for your cell phone, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay capabilities, so that's good to know. We do have our dual zone climate control here in the front. You can adjust your fan speed right there. And we also have a couple of USB options. Here on the Sport trim level, you won't have wireless charging, not necessarily a big deal. You already know about the shifter right here. Here is our drive mode selector. Let's go through those driving modes and see what we have. We'll start with normal. Every time you turn your Accord off and then start it again, no matter what driving mode it was in when you stopped, it's going to default back to normal when you turn the ignition back on. You can also see Econ right there, and you can see Sport right here. If you want to use that, you can also use individual mode. Very easy to deal with. You can customize everything as far as the powertrain goes, steering, adaptive cruise control. It's really easy to deal with. So depending on what you want to change, you can have something in Econ, something in normal, something in Sport, whatever it is you want to do, that's completely up to you. Super simple, I like that. Also, your knob right here for turning the volume up and down for the radio and turning that on and off. And we'll also find our power parking brake and brake hold right here. Now, you do have the armrest right here that doubles for the lid as for the console, the center console, and in the console, there's a couple of things to talk about here. Not only space, but there is an option to give your rear seat passengers USB connectivity. With the 12-volt power outlet, just buy an adapter and they're good to go. And yes, the console lid will close and that won't cause any problems where that is concerned. And just to show you what's here with the upper console, take a look at that. Here's how you're going to control the position of your sunroof. You have a sunglass holder right here. And in case you were curious, here is what your vanity mirror looks like. It does have a light. Hi, everybody. Two lights, actually. And something else that I know a lot of people like to know about is how about hiding away the sun when it's on the side of the vehicle? That goes really far back. You would have to have your seat overly reclined, we'll say, in order for that to not be effective. And before we hop out on the road for the test drive, let me show you one thing. I'm going to go through and show you how easy it is to pair your smartphone. It gives you the instructions on the screen, and we're going to go to Bluetooth as it tells us to do right here. We go all the way down to the bottom. You're going to see right here where it says Honda Accord. And so then it's going to give us the instructions for pairing. We need to hit pair, we need to hit allow, and we'll let everything happen as it needs to. And we'll make sure that we select Apple CarPlay. And the reason for that is because I want to make sure that we are able to listen to some audio here. I need to hit use CarPlay on my phone. Let's go back here. There we go. And now we have CarPlay. So what that means is now I can let you listen to something with the 8-speaker audio system here. I know that's not a lot, but I don't want to overload with too much of that, but hopefully that gives you an idea of what the audio sounds like in this Accord. Keep in mind, I didn't make any adjustments to make it sound better, so that's just the base settings. All right, here we go on our test drive with the Accord. And one thing, I know a lot of people have expressed their displeasure with the overall exterior look of the Accord, but if you're not bothered by that, and there are some people out there who have said they like it, it's grown on them. So the one thing that's definitely the case here is that whether you like the way it looks or not, if you're looking for a sporty driving experience, this Accord Hybrid will definitely give it to you. It really is a lot of fun to drive. While it's only front-wheel drive, it still has superb handling characteristics. Great handling, great cornering, nice tight turning radius, all the things that you want, especially if you live in a city where you have a lot of people. Everything's very congested. It's easy to maneuver in and out of tight spaces, whether you're out on the road or you're in a parking lot or whatever the case is. Definitely a lot of advantages where that is concerned, and easy to see out of. And regardless of how easy it is to see out of, you also have the blind spot monitoring built into your side view mirrors, so that's going to help a lot as well. Pretty good gas mileage, I'd say. Owners are going to have to determine whether they think that it's good or not, that it's acceptable. Some people will say it is, some people won't. It's funny to read some of the comments that people leave talking about how their 1985 Suburban gets better gas mileage than these Accords do. I doubt that's really true. It's just funny how those comments allow you to say whatever you want. And, well, sometimes people won't believe you. We have to move over one more time here because there's a truck on the side of the road. Let's be safe in case anybody steps out. What about acceleration? Well, it's not bad. I mean, this isn't meant to be neck-snapping performance, but we'll go into sport mode here and get down the road. You definitely don't have any trouble accelerating up to speed when you need to, that's for sure. It's not meant to be high performance, but I tell you what, that, as I mentioned earlier, that sporty feel is definitely here. And it's not just the way it feels. It does get down the road with no problem. The steering is surprisingly nice and tight as well, depending on what you set. You can go into your individual settings, or if you're in sport mode, you're gonna have nice, tight, responsive steering. That's always a good thing. It brings peace of mind because you feel more in control. That's always a good thing. Technology is so easy to learn, you really could hunt and peck your way through it, at least in my personal opinion, regardless of your level of experience with something like this. We all had to learn it at one point, and I feel like if I can learn it easily, anybody can learn it easily. It's just that simple. Overall, a really nice vehicle. And obviously, you don't have everything here as far as the Accord Hybrid goes because this isn't the highest trim level. Depending on what you want, you might have to step up a little bit, but I personally believe as far as being the best bang for the buck trim level, I think this is it. Depending on what you want to spend and depending on what you need to deal with weather-wise where you live might determine some of those decisions, but that's my thought on it. I'm curious to know what yours is. And there are the particulars, at least the high points, on the 2024 Honda Accord Hybrid Sport. Is it the best bang for the buck trim level? Tell me what your thoughts are down in the comments. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends at Holmes Honda for loaning me this Accord for the day, and a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. That way you don't miss any future videos. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.